Jahangir. He made him part of his army. But the result of this, look at the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The result of this was Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi got an opportunity to be close to the king because he was in his army. And through this, Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi purified Jahangir, the king of that time. And instead of him becoming, the person who was hunting, Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi, he actually became the hunted. Because eventually, he gave his entire life and he handed himself over to Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi. And in the latter part of his life, when Jahangir was leaving this world, he also reached such a state of spiritual purification, such level of humility that when he was leaving this world, he told the people at his deathbed that I have no other hope. I haven't done anything amazing. I don't have no action of mine that I can rely on, that I can say because of this perhaps Allah will forgive me. But he says, I only remember this one statement of Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi, which he told me on one occasion. And he said, oh Jahangir, if Allah enters me into Jannah, I will not enter Jannah without you. He said, this is the only hope I have. So imagine that person who wanted to kill him, that person who imprisoned him, that person who made life so difficult for him, he became the person who handed himself over to that very person. So this was Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi, another incident of his life, very amazing, very beautiful, describes his humility. That on one occasion, not like the toilets of ours that we have today with all our flush systems and all the technical advancements that we have, even in the bathroom. But he went to the toilet to relieve himself. So there was a small broken earthen, pot that they used, that the cleaner of the toilet used to use to remove impurities from the toilet. So when Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi went, he saw this broken earthen, container or pot, and he seen that in that there was the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which was embossed on it. So immediately, he lost himself, and he came running out of the bathroom with this broken earthen pot, and he asked, his khadim and the person that used to serve him, he said, bring some water, and he started washing this broken earthen pot, with that water, and started cleansing it. And his khadim obviously seeing this and realized what he's doing, he said, no, let me clean it. He says, no, he cleaned it himself, and after cleaning it, he wrapped it in a white cloth, and he placed it in his house. And when he used to desire to drink water, he used to drink water from this very same broken earthen, pot. Because it had the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala embossed in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then, inspired Mujaddid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi and said that, oh, Shaykh Ahmad Sirhindi rahmatullah alayhi, just like how you have honored my name in this dunya, I will honor your name in this dunya as well as in akhirat. This was the humility that he had. And through kashf, it's something, time does not permit us to explain all these things. But nevertheless, through kashf and through ilham, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him, and he himself has written in his maktubat, in his own letters he has written to his son. He writes and he states that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to me each and every person that will be part of this Naqshbandi silsila, by name, by their lineage, by their place. He says, I can even show you, if you so desire. But this was the level that he reached. On one occasion he was making muraqabah, which generally we know the Naqshbandi Mashaykh make. He was making muraqabah one day after Fajr, and while making muraqabah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instilled this within him, because he was making a lot of humility, submission, and in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed him and told him that ghafartu lak, that O Mujaddid al-Faytani, I have forgiven you. وَلِمَنْ تَوَسَّلَ بِكَ بِوَاسِطَةٍ أَوْ بِغَيْرِ وَاسِطَةٍ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. He said, I've forgiven you, and I've forgiven all those people that will be linked to you directly or indirectly. Which means all the way going up, right till the day of Qiyamah, all those people will be forgiven. So this was such a great personality, just one saying, inshallah, that we can all make amal on and we can understand. Sometimes we think these Mashaykh and these Sufis, we think, what are they talking about? What are they telling us about? Wallahi, these people will make you understand what deen essence is. The essence of deen, what it really is. We just understand deen on the surface, but they dive deep into it. So, Mujahid al-Faytani rahmatullah alayhi has mentioned, he has written, do you know what is the value of one sunnah? One sunnah. He explained that a person can take 40 days. You know, people in the Khanka in those times, in our times it's very rare, but nevertheless Allah give us tawfiq also, that people used to spend 40 days in khalwa and in seclusion to purify themselves. And they used to put themselves under great striving and mujahada in order to purify themselves. So he says if a person has to make 1,040 days like this, how many? 1,000. Like this, whatever spirituality he attains, he cannot even be equated to one sunnah which is practiced on without sincerity. Without sincerity. And he said that all the optional acts, you have to put all a person's optional acts, even over 100 years of optional acts, that means you can take all your tahajjud salah, you can take all your Quran, you can take all your dhikr, you can take all your du'as, you can put it all on one side. And you can put one sunnah, it is like a drop in the ocean. All that nafil, compared to the sunnah, is just like a drop. Absolutely nothing. It's almost like valueless. And then he mentioned, and this is the actual point I'm getting to, one is the sunnah. But the second thing that he mentioned, even greater than that is a farad. Even greater than that is a farad. He mentioned that all the sunnah, all the nawafil put together, compare them to one compulsory act that a person makes amal on without sincerity. That means no devotion, no concentration, nothing. But he's just carrying out the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is farad on him. That, all that put on one side is like a drop. This one farad is like an ocean. So our 5 times salah, those things which are compulsory on us, we just take it for granted. When we do it, it's just like a haphazard thing, you know. How much of real importance do we give to our fara'id in deen? And this is the actual essence of deen. Allah is not going to ask you how much tahajjud you performed. All the sunan, all the nawafil, it's only going to assist and it's only going to be utilized to fulfill the deficiency that is found in your fara'id. If your fara'id is short, it's going to be covered from there. It's not the other way around. But wallahi, so many times in our life, we give preference to that which is sunnah and that which is nafil over farad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's no importance to sunnah. But you cannot give preference to a sunnah over the farad. The farad comes first. Sunnah comes afterwards. Allah comes first. His commands come first. Commands of Rasulullah SAW come after. But we need to understand this. So many people. In today's times you find it, you might heard of it, maybe here in Marlborough it's not common. I know back in some of the other areas in our, in South Africa, you find these things happening. In the name of tasawwuf, people will say, you know what, my Shaikh, and they will quote Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, and this Shaikh and that Shaikh, and they will say, no, music is permitted. It is permitted. And while they dancing and jumping to tablas and all sounds and everything else and qawali and whatever, and they say we're going to some hal and some trance and all that. And they are saying what? This is deen. This is not deen. فَاتَّخِذُوا دِينَهُمْ لَهْوًا وَلَعِبًا. They have made their deen a thing of amusement and play. This is not deen. Deen in essence is the Sharia. Deen is a pristine thing, like Mujahid al-Faytani rahmatullah mentions, that your fara'id are right on top. Nothing can take precedence over it. Nothing. I always say, if you're looking for a sheikh, look, I'm not a sheikh, I'm a sheikh by name, yes. I'm saying you're looking for a true sheikh. I mean, mashallah, you got Mala Abdul Hamid Saab, you got Mala Fadl Rahman Saab, you got Mufti, what's his name, Tam Zakaria? Mufti Radha al-Haq Saab, you got Mufti Mutara Saab. got Mufti Ibrahim Saleh Sahab in Durban. So many great Mashaykh in our country, seniors. MashaAllah, we should go to them and benefit from these people. We should link ourselves to them. Because in essence, what are we? What do we have that we can claim anything? What have we really done in our life? Like Mujahid al-Faytani rahmatullah, the people linked to him. Even he himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him. And Allah told him to tell this to people. It wasn't a thing that he just was just told. He was told that he should tell this to everybody. That tell people. So we should link ourselves to these Mashaykh. Perhaps because of that link that we have, it is hoped tomorrow that perhaps we will be saved by them. Because what action do we have? What really do we have in essence? So I always tell people, if you want to look for a Shaykh, and I always advise people, go look for a Shaykh. No one is saying you must take bay'ah. You all think, first thing you think a Shaykh, they take, say no, we need to take bay'ah. I don't want to take bay'ah. So, people used to come to Mawlana Ashraf Ali Tanwi rahmatullah alayhi, and because they heard he's a great Shaykh, they used to come to him, or they used to write a letter to him, and he used to tell him that, Hazrat, we want to take bay'ah. Immediately he used to refuse. He used to refuse. And when someone used to come to him and tell him, I came for my Islam, for my Reformation, he used to accept. And eventually he used to allow that person to take bay'ah. So bay'ah is not the objective. The objective is reformation. You link yourself to these Mashaykh to make your Islam, to reform yourself. Otherwise you will never become reformed on your own. How many of us in our own homes, if you want to really know who's the real, proper Shaykh, it's actually a person's wife. She'll put you in place. But she knows what you really worth, She'll tell you, she'll tell you, don't act there like a Hazrat, you're a big shaitan, You go there, you accept in a first serve, everything, put on a big amama, everything. I know what you're doing. I know what you really are. You're sleeping the whole day, whole night, people are thinking you're reading tahajjud, and you're doing this, and you're doing nothing. You can fool everybody else, but you can't fool the people of the house. But nevertheless, even your wife tells you, you're not going to come right, because it's your wife. But when you go to a Shaykh, when you put yourself in front of the Shaykh, when you tell him your problems, when you tell him your illnesses, inshallah through his guidance, you follow his prescription, inshallah you will get cured. But go to the Mashaykh. But if you want to look for a Shaykh, first look for a Shaykh. Don't just go to any person you think. But primarily, if you're looking for a Shaykh, you must look and observe. Not for the aspect of taking out faults. Each and everybody is a human being. We all have faults. Small minor mistakes we all make. But I'm saying if a Shaykh is really a Shaykh, you will not find a Shaykh that he is oblivious and he is not punctual of his fara'id. I always tell last night I was speaking to some youngsters, they were studying their taqs, actually from Lens. So I was speaking and giving them some advice. So I was telling them a similar thing. So I tell them, look, you must look on a Sunday Fajr. First you must look every Fajr. If you see that Shaykh there, not in a second surf and in a third surf. First surf, Takbir-e-Ula. He must be punctual, he must be paband, he must be regular with his salah. Otherwise, what kind of a Shaykh is he? Where is he going to take you? His fara'id is not intact. What's going to be the condition of his sunan and nawafil? There's no question of it. So that person's fara'id must be intact. So I say first look at that person, look at that Shaykh, observe him. Go spend some time with him. If he's not in your hometown, go spend time there. Go spend 1 week, 2 weeks, and observe the Shaykh first. How is this person? This person supposed to be that person who's going to lead me to Jannah. Is he following the Sharia or not? Maybe I'm far from it, but he must be on the deen. So you look at him, Fajr is there, yes or no? And specifically on a Sunday morning. Sunday morning like a chutti for everyone. Work also is off. Fajr is also off. Na'udhu billah. Allah save us. But very, very important thing. Our fara'id must be intact. Then only after that, now you start building some ta'alluq, some relationship. Otherwise you find many a times, you get a Shaykh that comes maybe from another country, from another area. What happens? We are amazed by the eloquence. We are amazed by their speech, by the way the things they say. Automatically you feel, oh no, this is a Shaykh. I'll take bay'ah, and then you go take bay'ah, and then finish. After that, nothing happens. I know I met many people like that. Say, no, I'm linked to so and so Shaykh. I say, Hazrat, from that time till now, any benefit, any change in your life, any ta'alluq, you kept in touch with the Shaykh, communication? No, nothing. I say, what benefit was there? Don't get fooled by talks. Look at action. Look at action. Look at that person practically in his life. That is why my Shaykh, Mawlana Qamar Zaman Sahab, he mentions that he, Shaykh Shah Wasiyullah Rahmatullah, used to say, he says, if you can't benefit from the silence of a Shaykh, where will you benefit from his words? If you can't benefit from the silence of a Shaykh, where will you benefit from his words? I know, the very first time, my Shaykh came to Metro Masjid, and Mullah Yunus Sahab Rahmatullah was also present. And mashallah, look at the desire of these people. Even Maulana at his age, he made it a point to come and meet Hazrat there at Metro Masjid. So Hazrat sat down. I'm not exaggerating. Mullah Zakaria was there as well. Hazrat never said a word. He said nothing. He sat there for almost an hour till the adhan of Dhuhr. And everybody that was seated there, nobody moved. Everybody just sat. But that is what I mean. So it is not about the words. It's about the action. The spirituality that's within that person's heart. That's how we will benefit. So we should go to these Mashaykh. We should learn to go sit at their feet, to go for our reformation. And inshallah by ourselves, by us linking ourselves to such people, and inshallah it is hoped that inshallah we will come onto deen, will some reformation take place in our life, we will find some change in our life. Otherwise we will continue like this our entire life, and we'll just be in this, this wishful thinking that we fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and kalas. There's so much more you're supposed to do. If a person really understands what life is, a person has to finish himself for Allah. You see, we don't have Allah in our heart in essence. Yes, we understand with the mind that Allah is there, we make sajda to Allah, we read Quran, we make dua, all that. But we don't have that real recognition of Allah in the heart. If you have that, if that flame of the love of Allah is lit in the heart, wallahi my brothers, you won't want to live. You won't want to live. The only thing you will wish for is for death. But you see right now, if I ask all of you, including myself, what's the one thing we're all scared of? Death. We're all scared to die. But why are we scared to die? Because we haven't understood who Allah is. But the reality is we are going to die. We're all going to leave this world. No one's going to stay here forever. You are going to die. 100 years from now, all of us sitting here probably will not be existing. But the reality is we're all going to die. But you will not understand death, and you will not look forward to death if you haven't recognized Allah. And where are you going to recognize Allah? How are you going to recognize Allah? If you want to do business, you go to a business area. If you want to, pursue some, degree or whatever, you're going to go to a university. That's an environment. But if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where are you going to get it? You have to go to the Ahlullah, the people who are the friends of Allah, because they have Allah, they found Allah already. Go to them, and inshallah you will find Allah as well. So really Allah give me the tawfiq, give each one of us the tawfiq, the ability, to go to the Mashaykh, to benefit from them. And inshallah it is hope that through our companionship with them, inshallah that will be reformed, some change will come in our life. Inshallah by spending time and associating ourselves with such people, inshallah this true love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter our hearts. Allah give us all tawfiq wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Let us make muraqabah for a few minutes. Each one of us close our eyes. Empty your mind, empty your heart of all the thoughts, the worries, the concerns of this world. Focus your attention on Allah and try to listen attentively that as this heart of mine is beating, it is taking the name of my Rabb and it is saying, Allah, Allah, Allah.